Those early Americans endured hardships we can't even fathom. Those are the people who fought to live. Yeah, they fought for freedom, both in and out of the military, but they also fought for personal rights and thousands of other things that they did, slowly over time, to make improvements to this country. This country that you and I now get to enjoy. Those accomplishments are not lost on me, and they are worth celebrating. It speaks to the resilience of the human spirit, and I'm so grateful for those who traveled across uncharted territory in horse and buggy and endured the elements through frigid winters and sizzling summers, so I could simply have the opportunity to live and to sit here and talk to you right now. Welcome back to the Sunshine Cafe, where we pour positive back into your day, sharing stories from real people who have made it through some real struggles, but were able to restore their health, hope, and peace. I'm Lisa Roers, your host, and as a certified coach, I'm here to guide you to be your best self-advocate, to help you restore your health, ignite your faith, and conquer those fears while you navigate your own healing journey so you can eventually exchange your dis-ease for durability. If you're looking for hope and encouragement to live a life you love, then you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Sunshine Cafe. This is the week of July 4th, and so in this shorter episode, I'm going to talk just a little bit about America, and we're going to celebrate with some immense gratitude a few key things that we have to be grateful for this Independence Day week. This is our 248th birthday as a country, so let me start this episode with a very big happy birthday wish. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear America. Happy birthday to you. Happy Independence Day, America. And no country's perfect, and yet with all of her faults, which frankly, a country's faults all stem from the fact that our leaders and the American citizens who live here and vote to impact this country, well, we're all prone to fail. And we're all prone to make mistakes. That is just a simple foundational truth. So we are all fallible. In fact, making mistakes is really how we learn. As long as you stop and do a little maintenance along the way, adjust the path, and then try differently next time, as long as you do those things, mistakes are good, especially when you're creating a brand new country. You're bound to make some mistakes. But even with all of her faults, I am really proud to be an American. Not prideful, not in a bad way anyway, but I'm proud as in I'm honored that I get to be an American. Even with all the craziness America and frankly the world has experienced in these last 4 to 5 years, with all the division that has been created, sometimes purposefully, sometimes organically, but even with all of that, I still believe in this country. And I love the American dream. I love the freedom we have to worship without the impedance of government, and the values, the ideas, and even the ideals upon which this nation was built. Yet, the last 250 years have proven that democracy can work. It works. And that was definitely not a guarantee when those founding fathers got together to draft up a constitution, a document that would define how the whole country would be managed and protected. And again, is it perfect? No, it's really not. But when you compare America to other countries around the world, it is pretty awesome. In fact, I often marvel at just how much they got right in our Constitution. I mean, they were just people like you and me. They did such a great job with those founding documents and how those founding documents have managed to sustain our country over these last now nearly 250 years. Even with all the sinful and evil nature of human beings, this great idea of America works. But it was not a guarantee. In fact, even George Washington, our first president, called America an experiment. He wrote this in a letter dated January 9, 1790, and he wrote this: the establishment of our new government seemed to be the last great experiment for promoting human happiness. So it was an experiment, but with 248 years behind her, it's proven that America and democracy does work, although it might be in need of a little bit of maintenance to continue humming along like a well-working and fine-tuned machine. But I think we all can agree that if you stop and think about it, all things need maintenance to continue working well. I don't expect my car to run well without maintenance. I don't expect my house to work well without being cleaned, painted, and maintained. Certainly our bodies need daily tending and fuel and movement to stay healthy. Everything requires some work along the way, a periodic cleaning out, and maybe some oil here, some paint there, and a little tender, loving care. We all need to put that kind of effort into things to be maintained. So what about America? Well, I think she is no different. America and the democracy that we enjoy so much, in fact, the freedoms that we often take for granted, that all needs to be maintained. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing stays in good shape without periodic maintenance. Rather than entertain any ideas of discarding the amazing accomplishments that America has had in its short 248-year history, I think we just need a little time. We need to get back to basics and trim the branches of this tree, those branches that have grown out of control and out of alignment with the things that America as a country was built to be. No country can be all things to all people. Not any more than a business can serve every customer with every desire. But America still does excel at creating an environment, as President Washington said, which promotes human happiness. And oh, what a beautiful country we have. Thanks to our 26th president, Teddy Roosevelt, we now have over 85 million acres of national parks for the public to enjoy. And each one of our incredible 50 states, from Hawaii to mainland USA to Alaska, each one of those states have individual beauty, resources, features, and characteristics that make each state its own incredible place to live. I celebrate that. I celebrate the uniqueness that each state has. In fact, I applaud that. I love seeing the distinctive things that each state has, the unique landscapes, and all of the remarkable possibilities that the citizens of those states and our country offer up as they're living and working hard from sea to shining sea. For example, right now, I'm speaking to you today from the beautiful state of Minnesota. We are in north central United States. And here in this one state, we have more than 11,000 lakes to enjoy. In fact, we have more shoreline in Minnesota than Hawaii and California combined. And if you add rivers to that data, we have more shoreline in Minnesota than Hawaii, California, and Florida combined. Lots of shoreline in Minnesota. And if you're curious about those numbers, I put a link in the show notes where you can look at all of the data, because I did fact check myself. Yeah, there are lakes everywhere in this state, and they offer us so much beauty, from sunsets and loon calls to fishing and bonfires and plenty of mosquitoes. It's really hard to even capture in words just how beautiful it is. It is simply spectacular. America as a whole offers business opportunities, the freedom to worship and gather together, to express unpopular opinions, as well as to agree with opinions of the masses. We can wholeheartedly disagree with our leaders and say it out loud. And we can support them with an unparalleled passion. We can plant a garden, work hard, and enjoy the fruits of our labors. What a beautiful country this is. I talk about this all the time with my family because I just marvel at the pioneers who came before us. In particular, those brave souls who settled the land right here where I am in Minnesota. We have a few key phrases here we joke about in Minnesota. One of them is, there are 2 seasons in Minnesota. And if you're from Minnesota, you know what my next line is going to say. The 2 seasons in Minnesota are winter and road construction. But we also have a tendency to say, if you don't like the weather, Wait a minute. Which some days feels more true than others. In 2019, we actually had a really frigidly cold January with a wind chill temperature that went down all the way to negative 55 degrees. That's in Fahrenheit. That's negative 48 in Celsius. But then, just a few months later in July, the thermometer shot up to the top with a heat index of 115 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 46 degrees Celsius. The difference between those two is 170 degrees, and that's only 7 months apart. It's really not that uncommon for us to even have a 40-degree temperature swing in one day. So how did those pioneers survive? Have you ever stopped to think about it? During those harsh winters, how did they get water when everything was frozen? I imagine they dug down and had a well or dug through the ice, but even with that, they didn't have tools like we have today. Have you ever tried to dig a hole? That's a lot of work. Just imagine how hard that would be. How do they heat their home all winter long? How did they find enough food to eat when everything around them was covered in a blanket of snow? They didn't have thin-slate jackets or hand warmers or tough, waterproof boots to keep the cold from causing frostbite on their hands and feet. They couldn't just go buy another sweater. They didn't have a warm shower to enjoy. And then what about those scorching summer days with high humidity? All the lakes that we have here in Minnesota create a lot of summer humidity. Imagine those 100 plus degree days without a fan, without a cold shower, without air conditioning, without easily accessible water to just stay hydrated, or water to feed their animals, to irrigate the land. They had none of that. Yet they pressed on. They were tough, strong, resilient, tenacious, and obviously never gave up, or we wouldn't be here. The challenges that those pioneers and early settlers endured are truly too numerous to mention. It's mind-boggling, and when you stop and really think about it, it's humbling. Stop for a moment right now. Think about your day just so far. Your breakfast, the nice shower you started your day with, the car you drove to work with, the food that you easily took out of your cold refrigerator, the microwave that warmed up your coffee when it got cold because you were cooking your breakfast. All of the multiple options you have in your closet for clothes that you were able to choose from when you got dressed. Just the lights that illuminate the room you're sitting in right now. All of these are amenities that most of our country throughout history, and the world for that matter, never got to enjoy. Those early Americans endured hardships we can't even fathom. Those are the people who fought to live. Yeah, they fought for freedom, both in and out of the military, but they also fought for personal rights, the right to own land, the right to have a farm, to start a business, to realize a dream, and thousands of other things that they did, slowly over time, to make improvements to this country. This country that you and I now get to enjoy. Those accomplishments are not lost on me, and they are worth celebrating. In fact, thinking about all that they did is really encouraging. It speaks to the resilience of the human spirit. And I'm so grateful for those who traveled across uncharted territory in horse and buggy and endured the elements through frigid winters and sizzling summers, so I could simply have the opportunity to live and to sit here and talk to you right now. That kind of gratitude causes me to take stock of my own life and to ask a couple simple questions. 1, would I have survived as a pioneer? I'm not really sure. Perhaps I would if I had had the chance to learn. I definitely couldn't be dropped into that environment right now at the moment. I would have a lot of life skills and survival skills that I would have to get mastery over before I could survive. But number 2, considering all the sacrifices that were made, from which I am now the beneficiary, I have to ask myself if I am living in a way that's worthy of those sacrifices, the things that were done so future generations could enjoy them. Am I making the most of what has been given to me? Am I taking care of the country, the animals in my sphere of influence, the natural resources in my state? Am I picking up garbage? and making the place better than when I found it? Am I using my own personal gifts, my talents, and the blessings that God has given me in any way that might help benefit my country and those who will come after me? Or are most of my efforts solely focused on what I can get personally? What am I doing to protect the freedoms that so many people fought and died for? What am I doing to protect the land and the country that has been entrusted to me and to our generation? That's a good question to ponder. And it's worth pondering. And you know what? It's worth celebrating. Because this isn't something that I have to do. I get to contribute. And I'm honored to have the abilities and the talents and the health that allow me to leave some kind of teeny tiny legacy which might impact lives that come after me. It's my tiny way to honor the sacrifices that came before me. Not just those who fought for the country to become a country, although certainly those people, but also for all of those moms and dads and the kids, the children who lived through the lack of conveniences, the lack of comforts. All of those people who believed in a country worthy of sacrificing their own comforts for the benefit of future generations that would come after them. They carried the baton, and they've handed it to us. We get to impact the future with the choices that we make every single day. The gratitude we have, the way we bring peace to each other, the way we unify a multitude of ideas around a single concept, once called an experiment for human happiness. The most beautiful country with unlimited opportunity. In need of maintenance? Yes, but the beautiful and incredible United States of America. Happy birthday. Happy 248th birthday, America. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, with amber waves of grain, purple mountain majesties, sitting just above the fruited plain. America, America. God, please shed your grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Happy birthday, America. Hey, thanks for listening or watching the episode today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast. And I love your reviews and any feedback you have. Please feel free to send that to my production team at podcast@lisaroers.com. Have a great week, and we'll see you right back here next week at the Sunshine Cafe.